Okay, I think this is the last video for routing, Azure routing. We have been discussing in my previous videos Azure system routes, how do they work, and then we discussed Azure custom routes like user-defined routes. How do we override system routes? And then also we discuss optional system routes like when you're creating another peering in between two VNets, it will create an optional route in all subnets telling you got a path to uh, from first VNet to second VNet. That is optional route, and then the system routes. And then we discussed user-defined routes, and we did some exercises as well to examine these routes, how they become invalid. And also, we did how routing works with the VPN gateway, Azure VPN gateway, using a local gateway and using our pfSense firewall. We did some exercises. How do we create a tunnel IPsec site-to-site connection from on-premises to Azure through VPN gateway using two types of routing, normal routing, as well as we enabled the BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, very popular, commonly used in routing in the internet. And we showed how do we connect from on-premises to VNets. And the last exercise we did on-premises plus another two VNets in two different regions. So it doesn't matter, it's the same region, but two different VNets, how the VNets work with the BGP routes. Today, what we're going to discuss, we're just going to discuss the last uh, session on this routing. Is called Azure Route Server. So the Azure Route Server simplifies the dynamic routing between your virtual appliance and Azure Virtual Network, right? This is only going to use if you got a very complex setup, like if you have a software-defined network, SDN, right? And firewalls and NVA. So how does it work, this diagram, right? This diagram explains Azure Route Server. Route Server is a facility we can create in Azure, right? And then we can connect on premises, internet, and then SD-WAN, like software-defined wide area networks, right? So if you can read this Azure document in Microsoft, how do they work? Like, see that the following diagram illustrate how Azure Route Server work with SD-WAN, NVA, and security NVA in a virtual network. Once you establish BGP peering, Azure Route Server receives on premises from SD-WAN appliance, right? Through from the firewall. So this again is going to use a BGP protocol, right? So if you see the key benefits, right? Key benefits of using Azure Route Server, right? It just simplifies the configuration management and deployment of your NVA in your virtual network. So we don't know, we don't need it to manually update routing tables when network addresses are updated, or if you're putting a new network, and we don't need user-defined route manually, right? And sort of things we can do with the Azure route server. So you can read this document under Microsoft. So this is the limits and other stuff, right? What we're going to do, we're going to create Azure route server and do some demonstration. I don't have like a very complex setup from on-premises to here, but to demonstrate this one, we're going to create a Azure route server through one of these ones, right? Let's say create Azure route server through the portal. This is they only going to create Azure route server here, but I'll go to next one. So this one they use configure BGP peering between Azure route server and network virtual appliance. We're going to create a Windows um, PC here and configure it as a NVA, and then we can see how this routing can be configured in the Azure routing server. So I'm going to create this setup in here, right? Okay, so let me route server. I'm going to copy this one. I've got my right. Let's see available. Okay, so I'm going to go my one and router ROUTE. So let's type route server ROUTE router PER. So ROUTER route servers. This is what it is. Route servers, right? Okay, let's create a route server. All right, so here we can use normal. This one is a 1.0 respectively. Okay, route server subnet. Okay, all right. Let's create route server. Okay, I'll select my resources. My route server is US and use VPN because I don't have a route as part of it. So we can create a new VNet, VNet one, right? And let's create this route server subnet, which is required to create a route server copy, right? Route server subnet. And what is the, alright, so this one, what we're going to use is subnet, paste, alright, or subnet one, subnet one, which is we're going to use for creating alright, let's say, okay, route server subnet, begin with, begin with the letter or number, route server subnet. Okay. All right. So I'll put it in the lowercase. All right. So it will create a public IP address, which is only available inside the Azure, right? So I'm going to go and tell review and create validation pass. So let's get it initializing develop deployment, right? This will take a little while. Let it develop, but so this is how we are going to create a route server, right? So this okay, so can take up to 30 minutes, right? Yes. Okay, create a network virtual appliance, right? Or my And we can create a my NVA, right? So another subnet, uh, structure required. So we're using a 2022 server here, right? And get a subnet term or go to my subnet one basic. All right. So let's create this virtual machine. So VM virtual machines. All right. Let's create a virtual machine that is acting as NVA, network virtual appliance. Okay. So my NVA. Okay. So store my NVA. No infrastructure redundancy required. Select 2022 server. Right. Okay. We need to select our VM size. P2 P2MS. I'm going to use P2F. Let's see. Yeah. So available P2 or well, so all right. So we can put a password. All right. Good. Next disk and standard SSD networking. It will automatically going to select net one subnet subnet one, right? Public IP. Going to get a public IP because I want to log in. So let's leave a public IP in there. Management. No, leave it. Cities, everything. So validation passed. Going to create this one. So this deployment is still is in progress, right? So the other one is now started. So what is going to create next step? Once you create this machine, we need to log into that machine and configure BGP on virtual machine. So in this section, you configure BGP settings on virtual machine. So it acts as an NVA and can exchange route with route server. Like the saying important, the routing and remote access since support in Azure. However, in this tutorial, it's used to simulate most right. Okay. All right. So this is we just need to get this remote access and routing protocol installed. I think we did these similar settings a long time ago to connect to premises to here through the IPsec tunnel. One of my previous video when I started with Azure routing. So, and then here we go to install these features and then configure BGP and router ID on Windows. So this will add as a BGP router, right? To name with this one. And then we're going to add a BGP peers, right? BIP addresses 104, 105, right? And then uh, originate some BGP routes. They're seeing these local routes attached to here, like we assuming, right? We assume these two routings attached to here, right? That's what we're going to do. All right, let's have a look whether this virtual machine is ready. All right, yeah, this one is still on development, so code this resource. And what I'm going to I'm going to log in through a public IP address. So this is the public IP address, right? Okay, copy. Just going to log in now, all right? Okay, all right. We're going to log in through this one. So let me get a public IP address. Copy public IP address, right? Okay, going to paste. Okay, much access. Different account. So it's okay, everybody. Or I mean there. Just need to go here. So the PowerShell, I have to get this one installed. So let's get on time. I'm just going to copy this for too many. Okay. So okay, so that is the PowerShell. Okay, Windows PowerShell. Just need to run as administrator. Make sure you can see that, right? Okay, Control L, 3D, 3D, Control L again, right? Get this one a little bit bigger. You guys can see. All right, so no, is right. Okay, so the first one, going to copy, paste. Just getting this one installed. Still, this one is under development, deployment, right? Okay, so just getting collecting data for this one installation. Let's check how long this one forms are gone already 19 minutes. Let's see if we can get this one installed, and maybe I split the video into two of them. All right, otherwise it's becoming too long. Let's get this one installed. All right, so this one is success. All right, so we can is make this one smaller. All right, we could see this one as somewhere here. All right. Would be good. So get this one copy. Okay, RST, remote access PowerShell module, get installed. These are Windows features. You can get this one installed by going into server feature as well, but let's do it through PowerShell. I'm just copying the third one. That's the routing. We can add only these commands after we configuring these ones, right? Okay, install routing feature. That's success. Exit code is success. Routing only. Alright, so okay, configure this one as routing only. Remember, we can configure this one routing, direct access, dial-up access, and all this stuff. All right, all done. Now, this will configure BGP and router ID. So, router ID going to be 10.0.0.4. Local ASN number 65001. So, this one, BGP ASN number is 65001. And then I configure routers, Azure Route Server as BGP peer. So, we can do okay, let me check whether I have selected everything. Corrected. Okay. Okay, that to be added. Final one. Originate and announce BGP routes. This is the two BGP routes we think into connected into this one. Actually, it's not connected, but we assume that it's connected 172.16, 1.0.24, and 2.0. Right. So I think um, this is finished with the routing. All right, so this one is finished as well. We may be able to finish it within a one video, maybe. All right, so let's go and have a look our routing server. So go to resources. This is a route server. Let's quick have a look some of the properties of route server. So overview of route server. So it's got a route server IP addresses 1.4 and 1.5, right? Say provisioning state succeeded, connectivity status succeeded, right? So E is a number is 65515, right? So go and have a look. So this one is a VPN, so we can change the way that configuration. You can go for express route as path or VPN. So this is where you adding a peers, right? We haven't got any peers, but we're going to add that Windows machine as a peer, right? Let's go and have a look what is the name. Okay, so configure out server peering, right? So this is the address 65,001, and we're going to add this one as a peer, right? Okay, so go here, add, right? My NVA, right? It is same 65,001, right? Yeah, and IP address is 10.0.0.4. That is the IP address of our virtual machine. Going to add this one, peering, right? Okay, so yes, and then go to check the lanes route by running this uh, one in there, right? Sure, PowerShell. Let's get this one running, right? Still is adding. One coordinator, another PowerShell here, right? But we need to go PowerShell, right? Select, apply. So PowerShell is starting. Let me get this commands, right? Get this command, copy. Mhm. So where is commands, right? See, okay, resource group. Just try to add my resource group here. Just try to go back. All right, this is my resource group. Resource group. Wow. Copy. Yes, my resource group. My router, my NVA is all good. So let's see if we can run this one. Copy. All right, I want to see whether the peer is still adding. So just have to wait a minute. Right. So it might take a little while, even if it's add. Just have to wait until successfully added the peer. PGP status. Oh, voice and says person. All right, let's run and have a look. Right. So this command, I'm going to run this one, and let's see what's coming up. If anything comes up, that's what it is. Learn routes. So otherwise, it might take a little while. All right. See that? Come up with the whatever it's saying or the learn route, right? That's what it is. So it does seem so learns these routes 1.4, 1.4. You got these routes 172 to 172. So these two router service IP addresses learn these routes available. So I believe was a long series we had about Azure routing. I think with this Azure Route Server, um, Azure routing service routing section finishes, we have to go to start a new video by next week. Next video, I mean. Uh, until then, thank you very much.